$100 trillion VND disbursed by banks to support businesses. German firms optimistic about Vietnam's midterm recovery. 3 Vietnamese honored in Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia. Good afternoon, it's good to be back here with you. My name is Trinh Lê. Today, the 8th of April, Vietnam recorded 2 more cases of COVID-19, bringing the total cases to 251. These 2 new cases were infected from the spread within the community. Also today, 4 more patients have been cured and discharged. 2 of them are people with South African nationality. According to statistics from the Ministry of Health, as of 8 a.m. today, among 251 COVID-19 patients, 156 were imported, accounting for 62.6%, and 95 patients have secondary infection. It is expected that there will be more community infections, which must be considered as another potential outbreak. Along with identifying the source of infection, it is more important to immediately implement measures to prevent, isolate, localize, and stamp out the epidemic. According to a report of Ministry of Labour, War, Invalids and Social Welfare, if the COVID-19 fallout continues, it is estimated that in the second quarter of this year, over 250,000 employees and millions of workers would lose their jobs. And if the outbreak were to become stronger, up to 3 million people would be out of work. Yesterday, at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs headquarters, the Deputy Foreign Minister Tô Anh Dũng handed over 550,000 face masks made in Vietnam to support 5 European countries that have been severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Authorized by the Prime Minister on the afternoon of the 7th of April at the headquarters of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Deputy Foreign Minister Tô Anh Dũng presented 550,000 made in Vietnam antibacterial and anti-droplet cloth face masks to the ambassadors of 5 European countries, including France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and the United Kingdom, the countries heavily affected by the coronavirus, to support their governments and people in the fight against this deadly virus. The gifts were a source of mental support and showed solidarity and strong commitment between Vietnam and the countries in the current tough battle against the disease. Likewise, the ambassadors pledged to continue to work closely and strengthen cooperation with Vietnam in protecting people's health and safety. At the same time, maintain trade relations, share information, and offer mutual support to overcome difficulties.
The Vietnamese government has also handed over 500 made in Vietnam COVID-19 test kits to Indonesia. Indonesian ambassador to Vietnam, Ibnu Hadi, underlined that the support is the result of the cooperation between the Indonesian embassy in Vietnam and the Vietnamese embassy in Indonesia, as well as the Vietnam's Ministry of Science and Technology. The kit named Life Power IVA SARS-CoV-2, which uses the WHO-approved RT-PCR lab technique, is manufactured by the Viet-A Corporation. It allows for 50 tests with results obtained after just an hour using samples taken from the throat or respiratory tract. The kits were delivered to Professor Sri Omijati of the Laboratory for Infectious Disease Research in Jakarta. As of April 7th, Indonesia had reported 2,491 COVID-19 cases, including 209 fatalities and 192 recoveries. According to the statistics from the Ministry of Finance, about 95% of businesses across the country will have their taxes and land rents extended for 5 months. The total amount extended is estimated at 180,000 billion đồng.
In the first quarter, nearly 34,900 businesses withdrew from the market, an increase of 2% over the same period last year. Among those businesses, 18,600 companies suspended their operations, and more than 12,000 others are awaiting to undertake bankruptcy procedures. In response to the situation, the Ministry of Finance has proposed that the government consider to extend taxes and land rents for all small and micro businesses in the following sectors: agriculture, forestry and seafood, travel, accommodation and catering services, warehousing and transportation, construction materials production, real estate, education, health, and banks that offer support packages for customers affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Household and individual businesses also need to have 2020's value-added tax and personal income tax extended. The deadline for tax renewals is 31st of December this year.
2 weeks after the State Bank issued Circular Number 1, about 100 trillion VND has been disbursed by banks to support businesses affected by the COVID-19.
This chain of pastry and beverage shops has almost shut down this month. No revenue, yet more than 500 employees, plus a 100 billion dong loan is a grave concern for any business. Fortunately, in this difficult time, the company has been offered an interest rate reduction and debt extension for 3 months. The banks have supported us at the right time. They offered debt rescheduling, interest waivers, new credit packages. It's really when we needed those the most. Paris Gâteau is only one of the 47,000 customers affected by the pandemic who have received timely support from the banks. We have more than 300 restaurants across Vietnam with 15,000 employees. We have a 200 billion Vietnam dong loan, received extension and interest rate reduction. Following the direction of the Prime Minister and the State Bank, this bank has continued to implement its interest rate credit program in the lowest group on the market, with up to 60 trillion Vietnam dongs, with the lending interest rate reduced by up to 2% per year compared to the previous credit programs. With the economy being affected like this, we continue to provide new credits and disbursements to customers. So far, we have already disbursed 55 trillion dongs for more than 2,000 customers. The banks share that they are able to provide low-interest loans by minimizing costs. Fast, timely, and practical, the programs from the banks have rescued tens of thousands of businesses from stagnation, risk, and cash flow scarcity. I think the most important thing at this time is to help businesses obtain capital through bank loans. Together with their own capital, they can continue their business and production. The banks are offering seamless support to businesses, especially in this tough time. Supporting businesses in this time of crisis also means a great deal to the banks, because only when businesses can repay their debts will the banks have operational safety and no bad debt.
German enterprises expect that Vietnam's economy will recover in the midterm, according to the AHK World Business Outlook 2020 released by the Association of German Chambers of Commerce and Industry on April 7th. The Association of German Chambers of Industry and Commerce has just released a survey assessing German businesses' confidence and the impact of the COVID-19 on their business operations globally and in Vietnam. Up to 70% of the respondents in the survey said that they will continue to invest in Vietnam, while 27% plan to recruit more workers. Some 80% said that they have been forced to cut revenue growth targets for fiscal year 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Respondents also identified market demand and economic policies as major challenges for the Vietnam's development over the next 12 months, adding that the pandemic has hurt their business at different levels and from different perspectives. Some 86% of the surveyed enterprises said that the suspension of entry and exit and the imposition of travel limits have greatly affected their operations. About 95% said that their supply chains have been disrupted, while 55% have seen orders of goods cancelled and 50% have postponed new investment plans. 2019 was considered a successful year for investment and trade ties between Vietnam and Germany, with the former being one of the key partners of the latter in Southeast Asia. 2020, however, will be a year of challenges for the global economy as well as the two countries. 3 Vietnamese entrepreneurs have been honored in the U.S. prestigious magazine Forbes annual 30 Under 30 Asia list. They are among 6 entrepreneurs sponsored by the Ministry of Science and Technology via a startup support scheme called Project 844, valid until 2025. The list features young entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers across Asia, all under the age of 30, who were chosen among 3,500 nominees from 22 regional countries and territories. 30 nominees were selected for each of the 10 categories, including arts, entertainment and sports, finance and venture capital, media, marketing and advertising, retail and e-commerce, enterprise technology, industry, manufacturing and energy, healthcare and science, social entrepreneurs and consumer technology. The Vietnamese honorees include Nghiêm Xuân Huy, co-founder and CEO of FinHay, one of the top 10 potential startups in the National Startups and Innovation Competition TechFest 2017. Last year, FinHay was named among the world's top 10 leading fintech companies. Second is Han Ngọc Tuấn Linh, co-founder and CEO of Vietnam Silicon Valley Capital, a $7 million accelerator that invests in world-class early-stage startups in Vietnam. The last honoree is Nguyễn Thị Ngọc Huyền, founder of the medical technology startup MedLink Asia, which connects producers, distributors, and consumers together in the ecosystem of pharmaceutical sector. MedLink won the 3rd prize at TechFest 2018 and championed the Viet Challenge 2019, an annual competition for Vietnamese worldwide, with the final round held at Harvard and MIT universities in the United States. That has been our FBNC News for today. Thank you for watching. Please take care of yourself and we'll see you tomorrow.